Continuing on with my Forgotten Weapon series, which, ironically, I'd forgotten to carry on myself, today we're going to look at a weapon which is very much, or was, very much a firm choice for me back in Battlefield 3, but has kind of fallen by the wayside in Battlefield 4, and I rarely see people use it anymore. Perhaps that's because all carbines are now the all-kit weapons, and not PDWs which are stuck to the engineer class. The UMP-45 should, in my opinion, be a weapon a lot more people want to use, but for the life of me I can't understand why it's not featured that much these days. The 45 is one of the lucky guns in the game, as it features the 45 ACP round. The name reflects the bullet that's actually used. The weapon has a higher damage potential than a lot of the other PDWs, which run the 9mm rounds instead. And as a result, the 45 can deal a max damage of 30 in close quarters up to 8 meters, which then drops out to 15.4 at 50 meters. This makes the weapon extremely effective up close, being able to drop players in just 4 bullets, which is obviously giving you a massive advantage. The footage in the background is on the map Wavebreaker from the Naval Strike DLC, and I found the center submarine pen a great place to use this weapon, as lines of sight tend to either be short or medium range, plenty of cover, ducking and diving across open space, and taking out enemies. To go with that high damage, the 45's short reload time comes in at an extremely short 1.85 seconds, making sure you're not caught reloading whilst an enemy comes running round the corner. So having established what the UMP-45 is actually good for, can we figure out why it's not used very much? Well, I'm not gonna lie, when you use it, especially outside of its rather specific comfort zone, which is basically extreme close range, the gun can be extremely hard to work with and just downright unreliable. First up, the bullet velocity. Only 340 meters a second. That's stupidly slow. I could walk faster than that. Well, actually I couldn't walk faster than that, but you get the point. This is so much slower than a lot of other weapons that it makes the longer range battles a lot harder to win. If your target is moving, you need to calculate for some severe lead-on targets. So let's say your enemy is running right to left about 120 meters away. You'd probably have to put your red dot about half the width of the player in front of the player that you're trying to shoot, even to have a hope in hell of landing a few bullets. Not to mention, at that range, you'll be doing the minimum damage of 15.4 per shot. You're essentially firing a pea shooter, and your enemy can just brush off the bullets. Something else to mention is the bullet drop, which is higher than average at 15 meters a second squared, so the bullets will drop much faster. Most guns in the game use 9.81 meters a second squared, and a few are lucky to have the reduced 6 meters a second squared. This means the further your target is away, the more bullets will drop before they get there. The UMP-45 makes long-range combat extremely difficult to handle, even with the higher than standard damage model. Going back to the close quarters combat just for a second though, something you might expect the UMP to be packing a bit more of a punch with is the rate of fire, which actually only sits at 600 rounds a minute, a little bit on the slow side. Of course you do have that 30 max damage to help you out a little bit, but with that low rate of fire, you do leave yourself vulnerable to weapons like the MPX or the MTAR for example, which both have much higher rates of fire and could probably down you before you've had the chance to think. So even in its comfort zone, the UMP could be outclassed by something that is much less powerful simply because it can spew out bullets faster. My advice for this weapon would be the following. Use it in close quarters, use cover well, and try and pick off a couple of targets per magazine. With the short reload time being so short, you can afford to drop a few extra bullets on another player, take cover, reload, and then come back out fighting again. If possible, stick a muzzle brake on there to help reduce some of the vertical recoil at medium range, and then use tap fire as much as possible at longer range if you really have to try and take somebody out. Otherwise, just avoid long-range combat altogether and try and take out people that are closer by. one quick thing, an update on t-shirts, which I showed you a couple of weeks or so ago. I have now finalised the design and I'll be setting them up for sale really soon. I'll do another announcement in a future video with a link that you can go to and you can order one if you want to. But like I said before, it won't be massively expensive, and I will do my best to make sure I can get the best quality shirt possible without you having to pay loads of money for it. Leave me a rating and a comment, it is always appreciated. Maybe you could tell me what weapon you want me to feature next on Forgotten Weapons. And don't forget to hit up g2a.com/r/Westy and grab yourself a great deal on PC games. The link's in the description. But until next time, my name is Westy, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.